More and more on the YouTube channel, it seems like we're talking about VR games, guys. Games that are coming out on virtual reality and are trying to make a splash. That being like Star Wars, the Vader game that's going to be coming out, as well as now we're going to be talking about Iron Man VR, guys. And let me tell you something. Star Wars and games within the Marvel or even the DC cinematic universes, or just in those, universes as a whole, I think they have something special here that could actually really help VR in a major way. I mean, there's other games that have come out, guys, like Half-Life Alyx, that have really shown some strides in the VR technology. But I want to talk about everything that we know so far about Iron Man VR. So let's get into it. In an article, guys, that was written by Alyssa Mercanti of Games Radar, Iron Man VR will fly on the PS4 this July, according to the official PlayStation Twitter account. The VR title will drop just in time for Independence Day, a fitting time for Tony Stark to show off his aerial moves. As we previously reported, the game was delayed back in January when its initial February 28th release date was pushed to May 15th. With the spread, of course, the pandemic, the game was further delayed with no clear release date until now. So, obviously, guys, this was a game that got, postponed, and then it seems like as of now, they're going to be sticking with that July 3rd date. At least let's hope. OPM got a chance to go hands-on and sky-high with Iron Man VR earlier this year and called it the perfect match of license and technology. Soaring through the skies as Tony Stark in VR sounds like a ton of fun, and it'll be great to drop those reverse thrusters mid-firefight and soar away from enemies. The dev team at Camouflaj reportedly spent ages making sure you could see Iron Man's full arms, not just the typical floating hands players have gotten used to seeing in VR titles. And I think that's something really important, guys, as far as from a perspective of while you're, playing a VR game, it's really important that, you get to see, you aren't shown too much because you want to be immersed as that character and really feel like you are that character. But at the same time, you want to be reminded throughout that you are that character. And then, of course, the story in Iron Man VR won't follow any of the Avengers plot lines from the films or comics. It's an entirely original story whereby Stark has to confront ghosts from his past. It's clearly drawing from the films and comics for inspiration, however, as Stark is often struggling with the consequences of his actions. And so, look, guys, as far as, from a perspective of what this game is all going to encompass, I mean, look, I look at this game and I see similarities with that of the Vader game, the Star Wars Vader game that's coming out on VR. And here's why. When you look at these two, types of games, I just think it's like these characters alone is going to be really cool. I mean, who doesn't want to be a Jedi, an actual Jedi in a VR title? Who doesn't want to play as a superhero in a VR title? I think they're hitting on a number of things here that are really going to get people to want to try out these different titles. And it's going to be coming out on, the PS4 or the PSVR, which is really cool because, a lot of people who have the PlayStation 4 do have the VR headset or bought it separately. And so this is going to be accessible to a lot of people. And so that's something that you have to really keep in mind. I mean, versus that of like Half-Life Alyx, when that came out, it was on like the Oculus Rift and it wasn't necessarily on some of the other, VR headsets. It was on a few of them. But what's cool about this is it's going to be a lot more accessible with the PSVR. And so that's something that's really cool, guys. It looks like as far as the story is concerned, though, looks like it's going to be, a little bit, they're going to be taking, some parts in it that are going to be based on probably the comics, of course. I mean, without a doubt. Even the movies, potentially, they're going to kind of take some things from that as well. And I think they definitely should do that just to give you a little bit of some form of like normalcy, some form of kind of things that look similar to what you have become accustomed to in the Marvel universe as a whole, whether we're talking from the cinematic universe, whether you're talking from the comic books, and now with the video games. And obviously with the Avengers video game that's going to be coming out as well, guys, this is trying to shape up to be something really, really cool. And this is kind of more of an overarching topic here. That being that, when you really think about it, Disney is really starting to not only try to pump out a lot of content as far as the movies go, but also now with the video games. And I mean, now moving into VR, that is something that could be really special, something that people really do enjoy. Hopefully it lands in every way that we could possibly imagine. Hopefully that, this is a great starting point at least for VR, superhero titles, VR Star Wars games, and that's the best that we can really hope for it. But I would love to hear from you guys. Even though we don't know a ton about this game yet, we've seen, trailers, seen game footage. The one thing though, guys, is that there's still some mystery to this story. And that's something I love. You're kind of going into this thing knowing you're going to be Iron Man, knowing basic things about the story, but still a lot of things that are mysterious as you play as Tony Stark, and you're going to start seeing more and more, maybe get some, more further back history on Iron Man or some of the other characters. Who knows where they could go with this? But let me know what you guys want to see in this VR title. Let me know, guys, in the comment section below. And for more Iron Man VR content and videos, stay here with Zero TV.